All right, you guys, welcome to tonight's Royalty Movement Team Training. If you don't know who we are
Mr.
and Mrs. Smith, and we are the creators of the Royalty Movement. Listen, what we're doing tonight is the perfect call for the start of the year. You have to understand this is the time that people are really going to be focusing a little bit more on their finances, money management, credit, investments, maybe even a little bit of retirement planning. Will they stick with it? I don't know. But this is the time that they're at least writing out those goals and saying, this is what I'm going to buckle down on this year. So for my builders on here, this is really our time to shine, okay? This is the time for you to really explode because this is what people put at the top of their list at the start of a new year. If you have yet to really work on your personal goals, this will really help you.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, you got to understand that it is important to set goals. And when you have a blueprint in order to hit those goals, it just helps you hit those goals a lot easier. Today, we're going to go over a blueprint, a plan, a real plan to help you hit your financial goals, whatever that may be. And it doesn't matter where you are, how far you feel you have to go. If you follow this plan has been the very plan that has created millionaires, created debt freedom, created all kind of cash flow success just off of following the blueprint. Now, what we're about to do is show you where you can access this overall financial freedom cash flow plan, as I titled it in the topic of tonight's training. It's available to you right there in your back office. See, that's the beauty of a lot of what we do. You already have access to the tools. We just got to remind you to use the tools, because when you use the tools work. But if they just sit there and collect dust, then you're sitting there wondering, scrambling for a plan, when all actuality, you had a plan to begin with. Now, as you listen to this training, I want you to listen from two perspectives. Number one, I want you to listen from an angle of, how can I benefit from this personally? Like, what is it that you can get out of this in terms of this blueprint, this plan, as it relates to your personal goals? That's number one. But secondly, I want you to listen from a perspective of, who else do I know that can also benefit from this information? Or do I believe that there are people that I may not have gotten connected to yet who can benefit from this information? Why is that important? Because it's important, for one, for you to know what you can do with this information and the solution that this can provide to you. But you also have to know that with so many people being interested in bettering their finances at this particular time in the year, you may be a solution to someone's problem. And they may never find out that you have a solution unless you open up and say something, unless you put out some content, unless you let them know, hey, I got access to a system that's helping me do X, Y, Z. They may never know that you even have a solution. So meanwhile, they stuck in their situation, drowning in their situation, and you had the life jacket all along. So do not take this information lightly. Apply it for yourself, but also don't be stingy with it, because it can help someone else. So we've logged in. This is the page that you'll see upon logging in. This is known as your back office, the Business Management Center. So all we did was log in, and we didn't do anything. So everything we do from here, you should be able to do, because this is just the login screen. Let's go.
Absolutely, guys. If you could see our screen, do me a favor and put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat if you could see our screen, if you could see the website. All right, perfect. All right, welcome to everybody that's still hopping on. Thank you again for hopping on tonight. Make sure you have your pen and paper. All right, guys, so after you log in, I want you to write this down. Now, first and foremost, we're going to do a quick, what you mean?
Are we off the camera?
Yes.
Okay,
first, just to talk about the things that you see at the very top of the screen, okay, really quickly. This is everything that's included in your My Econ membership. Investment education. Guys, there's videos here by the multimillionaire founders teaching you about the different types of investments. You can open up an account at any time, okay? So you may want to make sure you dive into those trainings. They're teaching you how to build wealth, how to really get rich in real life, okay? Correcting your W-4. Guys, I cannot wait to put out some more content going over the W-4. Those of you that have been rocking with us for a few years, you know that we do a series at the beginning of every year on our social media, going over the W-4. I did get word today, shout out to Nisi, that the new W-4 will be released around January the 9th. What is the tool called?
Calculator.
The estimator tool. The estimator tool will be up and running again on the 9th. So we will be dropping content about the W-4. We will be recording videos. Guys, our team is way too big to do one-on-ones. So you want to make sure that you are hopping on trainings. You want to make sure that you're engaging in the groups and that you're watching the trainings as we release them, okay? The My Credit system. The travel membership, let me go back. The travel membership is optional. You can upgrade your membership at any time if you also want discounted travel. We have the do-it-yourself credit repair system, which is included. It walks you step by step through fixing your own credit. It includes all of the dispute letters. And y'all have been keeping us busy in the credit repair chats, okay? We have our chat groups where you can ask questions at any time and we'll get you an answer, okay? Pertaining to what you're learning in the My Credit system or doing your disputes, drop it in a chat. Our debt elimination software where you can plug in your numbers and find out exactly when you're going to become debt free. Legally minimizing your taxes, guys. This is outside of the W-4. This is more so pertaining to those of you who are running a business with My Econ, taking advantage of the referral side. You're running this as a business, so you want to make sure you're keeping good records and you know how to file this on your taxes when it's time and maximize from those deductions. The CashFlow Manager is a record-keeping software to help you to maximize those deductions, okay? Log all of your expenses in here, and it makes it so easy for your tax preparer at the beginning of the next year, okay? You can do this whether you're running a business with My Econ or whether you have your own business. This app is available as long as you have your My Econ membership. You can track or log as many businesses as you want in this app, and I highly recommend it, okay? Then you have the cash flow strategist. This is the overall financial freedom blueprint where you can plug in your numbers, come up with a debt elimination plan, let them know when you plan to retire, how much money you want during retirement, and work out a retirement plan. Very, very important. I mean, I can only say so much about it. All right, let's keep going. So that I just wanted to give y'all an overview really quickly because I know we do have new members on. Where we're going over tonight is called the personal cash flow plan. The way that you access this, okay? Once you log in, scroll up and click on where it says Document Center. Document Center. When you click on Document Center, click on Training Manual. If somebody could put this in the chat for me, because I don't want you to forget how to access it. Once you click on Training Manual, it's number 6. It says 6/Training Manual Strategy 5, Investing. It is document 807. All right. So I'm going to pull that up. Let me know if y'all can see it. Can you see that on your screen?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, perfect. Now, guys, this is called the Personal Cash Flow Plan, also known as the PCP. If you were able to follow those steps, I want you to drop PCP in the comments. Drop PCP in the comments.
Perfect. So I see those PCPs, personal cash flow plan, because you got to personalize your plan. It doesn't matter what everybody else got in mind and what they want to do. Do you have your own plan? It doesn't matter what the economy is doing per se. Do you have your own economy? That's what My Econ is all about. So the personal cash flow plan gives you a plan that you can execute on starting now. That being said, My Econ is grounded in the foundation of helping associates attain personal financial success. That's the business we're in, helping you obtain personal financial success, not just make the company a big conglomerate, which we want to do, but it's based on empowering you. Financial success is attained by generating enough cash flow during our working years to support our lifestyle and simultaneously investing enough money to build assets to generate our desired retirement income. Let me simplify that. So basically, everybody is working a job or their business right now, but you don't want to do that forever. You don't want to do that until, the day you're no longer here. You want to get to a point to where you've worked enough to where you can eventually kick your feet up and retire. Even if you're doing something that's tied to your purpose, you never stop doing your purpose. However, you want to be putting yourself in a position to where you're no longer needing to work for money. If you do work for money, it's optional, not that it's a necessity. You see those people who work a retirement job. They worked all of their life, but then they don't have enough money to make ends meet, so they have to go get a job. This PCP prevents that, because during your working years, you want to be taking some of that extra cash flow and growing it by building enough assets to generate desired amount for retirement income. Millions of people are not accomplishing these objectives because of limited income and inflation. So for those of you who shy away from earning additional income, you don't want to do that. Limited income is hurting you. And then inflation is just the cost of goods and services and things going up, and high taxes. Don't shy away from building a business, whether it's my econ or something else, because otherwise you're going to overpay in taxes, and that's going to rob you of your wealth as well. That can be going towards your investments and creating that financial freedom and retirement income that you desire and deserve. High debt and inadequate savings and investing, basically is what's robbing you of your wealth. Our system is designed to help our associates overcome these obstacles and attain financial success. We provide a comprehensive solution that addresses each obstacle to obtaining personal financial success. In this module, we will focus on investing to build passive income, which helps our associates overcome the obstacles by empowering each associate to accumulate income producing assets. Assets. I want y'all to put assets over liabilities in the comments. Assets over liabilities, because that's what it's all about. Assets bring you in more money. Liabilities take more money. So you need to have more assets than liabilities. My econ system is fast and effective because each associate acquires extra cash flow by, number one, correcting their tax withholding. Number two, minimizing their taxes. Number three, generating business income. And four, debt elimination and minimizing expenses. The associate takes some of their extra cash flow and begins investing. The more cash flow the associate invests, the faster he or she builds income producing assets.
Yes, absolutely. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the PCP and what it is. Now, first, I'm going to zoom out so that you can see this document. Now, if you notice, there are steps here. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I don't know if y'all can see that. There are 8 steps here. Guys, when I see steps, you are going to see that this turns quickly into a checklist. Let's dive in. Step number 1 says, acquire as much cash flow as possible each month. This is business income, less taxes, W-4 adjustment, lowering your expenses and eliminated debt. Apply the extra cash flow to the steps in this system. So step number 1, guys, is to acquire as much cash flow as you possibly can. If you know you're living paycheck to paycheck, don't be closed-minded to a business income opportunity, a way that you can make money. Because you're living paycheck to paycheck, you need more money if you're really serious about becoming financially free. You need multiple streams. Lowering your taxes, very instrumental. We're going to teach you how to do that. As a matter of fact, that's one of the very first steps when you get started with my econ. If you go through the trainings on the royaltymovement.com, we go through the W-4 step by step. Lowering your expenses. Guys, look, a lot of us know we kind of splurge a little bit. We live a little bit above our means, but it's easy to go back and lower your expenses. Cut off things that are not necessities so that you can free up more money. And then eliminating debt. Okay, so all of the extra money that you can bring in, you are going to apply that to the next step. Step number 2 says, set up a beginner's emergency fund. You need $3,000 in the fund. I need you to drop 3K. Put 3K in the comments. You need $3,000 in an emergency fund. It says, to potentially get a higher return on your emergency fund dollars, you may want to put the money into a money market account or a municipal bond fund instead of a regular checking account or savings account. If you don't know what those are, research them, okay? Because they're giving you the suggestions. You got to do your due diligence as well. It's saying to get a higher rate of return. So these are going to pay you more than a regular checking or saving account. Also, you should keep the emergency fund separate from your regular checking account. If necessary, make periodic deposits until you get to $3,000 and then stop. If you already have $3,000, Move it to your emergency fund account. Separate from your other funds. Do not go to step number 3 until you've completed step number 2. It's a checklist. Okay? So listen, if you don't have $3,000 in an emergency fund, you are on step number 2. And you stay on step number 2 until you got 3K. It's laid out. That's what they said. Don't go to the next step unless you have $3,000. Okay, what is the $3,000 for? Why do you need to save $3,000? Guys, it's a beginner's emergency fund. This covers those many emergencies: a flat tire, you're sick, you have to miss a day of work and you don't get paid, right? Your baby gets sick, same thing, broken window. Many emergencies that happen, it's under $3,000. Okay, we can go down the list. We can name a lot of many emergencies that just happen spur of the moment. It's so much better when you have a little cushion. Okay, I remember a time where I had a flat tire and I was stressed out. I cried. Where am I going to get the money? I'm broke, right? When you have the money, it's a mere inconvenience. You're not stressing about that. It's just like, man, I had this schedule for the day. I got to push it back. It's just a mere inconvenience. It's a big difference in having money and not. So let's start working at that $3,000. Even if you're doing $10 a week, $10 a paycheck, do what you have to do. But the goal is $3,000. Then you can move to step number 3.
Step 3, begin investing in a retirement account of some kind. 401k, 403b, IRA, Roth IRA, simple IRA, SEP IRA, annuity. If you can, put in the maximum amount on a monthly basis, but at least 5% of your income. Do not go to step number 4 until you've completed step number 3. Now, many of you are probably wondering, okay, those are a lot of investment options. Which one should I choose? Right here is where I'll redirect you to going through the investment education video series that is available in the My Econ office, back office. This is the first tab that the Queen said that you can click. As soon as you log in, you'll see the carousel. It's on the far left, investment education. Mr. Stokes breaks down each and every one of these so you can find out which one best works for you. All of them have benefits. Don't overthink it. The main thing is get started, because so many people overthink things and never get started on investing. Meanwhile, the stock market continues to run, and over time it continues to go up. But if you never got started because you were trying to, overcomplicate the details, then you never build wealth. And I promise you, if you're not investing, you're not even on the road to building wealth. You have to have something that's making money without you. There's no way around it. If you work for every dollar that you earn, then you're doing yourself a disservice, and eventually you're going to run out of the ability to work. So you need to have something that's working for you. That's what money is all about. It's currency. It's just a stored form of energy. It's a tool that if you don't put it to use, then it's useless. You can't eat it. You can't do anything with it. So you got to put it somewhere to use. And that's what this is all about. Accumulating that asset so you can proceed to step number 4.
All right, step number 4, take the rest of your available cash flow after living expenses and set up the My Econ debt elimination plan. Pay off all of your consumer debt, not your mortgage. Do not go to step number 5 until you've completed step number 4. So again, y'all, it's telling you, do not move on. Listen, y'all, you don't want to jump around or skip steps. This plan was designed by multimillionaires. I want to make sure y'all got that. Multimillionaires. They're not going to give you an order. I mean, imagine skipping steps and the plan was created by a multimillionaire and you're a hundredaire or a thousandaire. I really want you to think about that. And this is what people do all the time. You have to be coachable, okay? So follow the steps exactly as they're laid out. Step number 4, again, you're taking all of your available cash flow and setting up your debt elimination plan. You are going to pay off all of your consumer debt, all of your credit cards, your loans, your car loans, student loans, everything except for your mortgage. So guys, you might be on step number 4 for a while. You might be on step number 4 for about 3 or 4 years. Guess what? If you quit, If you quit, you start back over. You don't have access to the rest of the steps anymore. Even if you print out this sheet and quit my econ, you're going to need the tools. You're going to need the software. You're going to need the strategies, the community. You lose access to all of that when you quit. Okay, so you want to make sure you stick with it. We were on this step for a very long time, but at least you have a plan. Do you know how many people out here don't have a plan at all? Over 60% of Americans can't even show you $1,000 in a bank account. They can't even give you $1,000 if an emergency arises. That's a problem. That's a real problem. So be grateful that you have a plan, stay consistent, pay these little pennies a month, and get access to something that can truly change your life. Step number 5, okay? So after you pay off all of your consumer debt, now you can go to step number 5.
If you are not maxing out your retirement investments, raise payments to the max, which is, associated with step number 3, back to investing, like we talked about, accumulating assets, making money work for you, not you just working for the money. Do not go to step number 6 until you completed step number 5. So this is where you fatten up your retirement. This is where you position the money that you earn today to benefit you tomorrow. By tomorrow, I mean many years later. It's something that requires discipline, but this is something your future self will thank you for. You see, a lot of times it doesn't seem so favorable to invest in today. You're like, I could have put that money somewhere else. But I promise you, your future self will thank you when that money turns into more money later. So really just understand why we want you to max out your retirement, because we know that futuristically, you're going to be grateful that you did, because you're not going to be in the same position as people who did not plan, because most jobs aren't offering really good pensions anymore. And 401ks, if you don't know where it's at, where it's going, what it's doing, then you're in a bind, because when it comes time to retire, you realize that it's not enough. You only have $40,000 that accumulated in there, and you can't live off of $40,000 for any much more than a year. Some half a year, depending on your scenario. So investing is very important. Invest in yourself, invest in your future. Step number 6, take all of your available monthly cash flow and build a full emergency fund. The fund should be built to 3 to 6 months living expenses. Building the emergency fund to 3 to 6 months living expenses should happen fairly quickly, because you have extra cash flow acquired from less taxes, less debt, less expenses, and business income. In other words, you've been applying the strategies. In other words, you have been applying the strategies. Now, it's something that's called, like the compound effect. Once you do one thing and then you stack on another thing, you realize that you're creating some level of momentum that's hard to stop. So do you think if you're minimizing your taxes, you're bringing back in that tax dollar, you're lowering your debt, you're keeping your debt low, and now you're keeping that money from going to the bank. So it's like you're saying, listen, let me not just focus on only making more money. Let me give less money away. Get some of the taxes back from the government, get some of the debt back from the banks who are overcharging your interest, minimizing those expenses. That takes money back from big business, putting it back into your household. And then you're creating business income that has no salary cap. You stack that on top of each other, you're creating some strong momentum. You have no choice but to make progress. So that's what my econ is wanting to do. Compound your money, compound your efforts using strategies of money that you're losing right now that you didn't know that you had the ability to get back. And then we take you into step number 7. But do not go to step number 7 until you completed step number 6.
Yeah, now, before we go to step number 7, guys, I just want to say this. You're probably wondering, why? Why would I want to save 6 months worth of living expenses, right? Because we always X out to 3. Why do I want to save 6 months worth of living expenses? And I will tell you, it's a 4-letter word, life. Okay? Life can definitely knock you on your butt, okay? And have you off your rocker for a little bit of time where it's time for you to get back up. I can give you a really good example. Our real life story was when I was pregnant with our twin boys. Our twin, everything was going good. I was healthy as a tick. And then at 6.5 months, I went into labor. So I went into premature labor. I had them, I delivered them at 6.5 months, and they had to stay 2.5 months in the hospital. Listen, most stressful, most depressing time ever, of our lives. But guys, if it was not for my econ and us having that 6 months living expenses, we wouldn't have been able to take off of work for 2.5 months. We wouldn't have been able to, not miss a bill, not have a late payment. It was all because we were prepared for emergencies. And that's a big example, but it's a small example compared to some others. When you think of like terminal illnesses, when you think about people who may have to go through things like, chemo and really have to be off for months, you need to be financially prepared for those type of things. And, I'm going to be honest with you. We were so grateful to be in the hospital for those 2.5 months in ICU with our kids and not having to worry about finances, not have to worry about, if we were going to miss a bill or be late on a payment because we were following this plan. As a matter of fact, it's so crazy thinking back. We were on step number 6. We were actually headed into step number 7 when life just hit us. And this was back in 2014. Life just hit us so hard, being in the hospital with them. And then after that, it came with so much. I left my job thanks to my econ. Right after that, a little bit later, Marcus left his job. But there was so much that came after that with our boys being born prematurely. And y'all, they're perfectly fine now if y'all follow me on Facebook. That was a really tough time for us, but we did not stress at all financially. It was more so emotionally. And even after they left the hospital, it was going to therapy. It was going home with monitors. It was so much that came with it. We were grateful to be in a really good position because of my econ and just following these steps, okay? So keep that in mind. It's so much better to be proactive than reactive. It's so much better for you to be preparing now. For some of y'all right now, life is good. Things are going good. Money is good. You need to be stashing a little bit of money aside. You need to be really utilizing a game plan like this, where you're investing a little bit. You're saving for emergencies. You have, your mini emergency fund, then your full emergency fund, because you never know what life can hit you with. One more example, and then I'll move on. I don't want to have y'all down. We'll lift y'all back up. Did you see how many people were being laid off around the holidays? Imagine if that happened to you. How long could you sustain? And that's the question. A lot of people won't be able to make it a full month if they lost their job today. Be proactive. Don't wait until something happens to try to scrabble up money. Be proactive and start doing it now. Okay? Once you get that full emergency fund established, then you can move on to step number 7. And step number 7 is,
if you are renting, buy a home. For those of you who want to buy a home, because we understand that different people don't want to, some prefer to rent, but that's just a part of the PCP. And proceed to 7B. If you're buying your home, then go to 7B. And 7B just basically says take all of your available cash flow and pay off your mortgage. Do not go to step 8 until you have completed step number 7. Now, the reason why I said if you want to buy a home, because we know that it's a big divide. Sometimes people don't want to buy a home. Sometimes people do. The purpose of it included in here is because many times your home can be an investment, meaning that you at least can have some ownership. It at least can unlock some equity as the value of it goes up that can be tapped into later or sold later. And it's just kind of stored equity in a particular property versus just having money saved or just renting solely. But that's the purpose of it. So choose what works best for you. But I'm sure out of all of these steps, it's something in here that you can apply to where okay, I'm at step 1 right now. So that's fine. I'm at step 2. I'm at step 3. Wherever you are, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. This is a no judgment presentation. This is just us letting you know that it's a plan that has been created, that has resulted in results, created success, created millionaires, created debt freedom and financial freedom. And we want to let you know that it's available to you and you have the tools to bring it to life. Now, the PCP alone is just the checklist. But you pair this with everything that my econ teaches, that's what brings us to life. When you pair this up with the cash flow strategist, that's what brings it to life, because the cash flow strategist is pretty much the tool where you're putting in your numbers and you know exactly when your debt freedom date is going to be. You know when your retirement date is going to be based on those numbers. And I want to say this because the queen broke down how you can't just solely depend on the job, which many of you know this. And we're not the type to bash a job. A job can be phenomenal. We know people who work a job and they are happy as can be. So it's not to knock or bash a job because we chose to leave our jobs. We did it strategically to the best way, we possibly could. But this is what you have to understand. If they fire you, or if your job chose to, part ways with you, they can replace you immediately at any time. They can choose that, hold on, your department is no longer needed. Or this particular technology made it so that we no longer need your position, because a lot of people are not irreplaceable at their jobs. That said, you need to make sure that your income that you're earning from your job is replaceable, meaning that you need to have some other form of income coming in to where you can possibly have side income that matches or outperforms the money that you're earning at your job. And even then, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to leave your job, but at least you giving yourself some level of financial freedom, some type of security to where if your job did choose to make that move, you're not scrambling because you've been building all of this time. So do not take that lightly. Do not take this opportunity lightly, because we know people who wish they would have took full advantage of my econ when they had the opportunity to, while they were working their jobs and everything was peachy keen. But then when their jobs let them go, they were like, I haven't been building my business or businesses in a way that positioned me to be able to say, you know what, them firing me was the best thing that could ever happen. However, there are people who position themselves to where they use my econ and leave their jobs. And that's what we were able to do. And I considered doing it strategically. I was at my corporate job for 10 years. My job still had a pension. And you lock in a certain amount of pension at 10 years. You max out at 30 years. And for me, I got hired early. I would have had to been there 30, 40 years to get a full retirement. But I was able to secure a pension at 10 years. And that's perfectly fine. Locked in a pension, segue right on out, and started building my econ full time, which has created other streams of revenue and residual and passive income as well. That same opportunity is available to you. And that's what we're here to help you do. Bring all of these tools and resources that we have inside of my econ to life so that you can hit your goals and not let up on them. Don't let this year be another year where you say, you know what, I'm going to get my credit here. I'm going to get my debt here. I'm going to get my investments or my income here. And then you tap out by Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? Most people fall out of love with their goals by Valentine's Day.
That's so sad. Mm-hmm.
It's the season of love, but they fall out of love with their goals by Valentine's Day. Don't let that be you. So stick with it, run with it, and you got our support every step of the way.
All right. Now for step number 8, because step 7B told you to take all of your available cash flow and pay off your mortgage. Don't go to step number 8 until you've completed step number 7. So until your mortgage is completely paid off. So again, guys, listen, it's okay if you are on a certain step for 2 years, 5 years,
Absolutely,
10 years. So we've been with my econ for 10 years. And some people wonder why we've never left my econ. Well, for one, we like to see things through to completion. Nobody else is going to give us a plan like this, for one. And then for two, they pay us every week. But outside of that, just the financial principles alone, guys, you got to understand, if you had a financial advisor, you're looking at $100 an hour to give you this type of information. You're looking at somebody that's going to charge you $100 an hour to sit down and map out a game plan for you, when my econ just gave you all the tools, everything they're going to use for the debt elimination, everything they're going to suggest mostly with the investment education, lowering your taxes. Everything is included in my econ. We give you a step-by-step list on the order to do it. You have no choice but to win unless you quit, unless you're not consistent. Okay? So step 8 says, start building an investment portfolio over and above your retirement accounts. You have endless options: stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, ETFs, annuities. You should have extra cash by the time you get to this step. Also, your financial knowledge should have increased. Think about it. When you make it to step number 8, guys, you are debt-free and financially free. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have any consumer debt. You have your mini emergency fund of $3,000 plus a full 6 months emergency fund. You owe nobody. You're financially free when you make it to step number 8. So look, we're still fighting to get back to step number 8 or to get fully to step number 8. And I feel like this could be the year. It says, my econs leadership team realizes there are additional financial concerns and needs beyond the ones we address in the PCP. Obviously, things like life insurance, health insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance, and many other financial needs may exist. However, at my econ, we focus on helping our associates increase their cash flow and financial knowledge. We believe there are many competent and qualified financial professionals. You should choose a financial professional to help you with the rest of your financial needs. Okay? You should interview at least 3 financial professionals before choosing who you will hire to help you with your investments and other financial needs. Also, read books on investing and network with other investors that fit your mindset. Congratulations. The millionaire inside you is emerging. Okay? And that's it, guys. That's all we have for you tonight. Who feels like this plan is perfect for the new year? Who's going to challenge themselves to get as far into these 8 steps as possible? Okay? I want you to put it in the chat. How do you feel about it? Because listen, y'all, I'm telling you, we can tell you from experience, this plan changed everything for us. It changed everything for us. And so real quickly, I just want to point out some of the things that we did when we were working jobs. Guys, we have officially been with my econ for 10 years now. Our anniversary with my econ was last month. It was the end of last month. And for mine, it's the first week of this month. So we have officially been with my econ for 10 years. When we started with my econ, we were working jobs. We haven't worked a job in almost 10 years because of my econ. Some of the things that we did, we printed this out multiple times. We had it hanging on the fridge. We had it on our desk at work. We had it in the car. I'm just giving you some suggestions. Next to every single step, where you see step 1, step 2, we put little check boxes. Okay? So as we were checking off the steps, we were so lit about checking it off. When we reviewed our expenses, we felt like, where is all of our money going? Between the both of us, we had really good corporate jobs with benefits. That's what everybody told us. Oh my gosh, we were making more money than people in our age group. So we had really good corporate jobs. Where was our money going? And once we found out it was going out to eat and splurging and shopping, we cut back. We started packing our lunch and taking it to work. I'm just trying to give somebody some ideas here. We saved so much money, and we were checking these steps off one by one, paying off debt, building an emergency fund, and we made it fun. Print this off, put the check boxes behind it, and really just like dive in this year. Don't let up. You're going to fall back a little bit. I'm going to tell you one more thing. You're going to fall back a little bit. Y'all, if everything was perfect, everything would be perfect. Think about it. When you're saving on step number 2 to create that $3,000 emergency fund, guess what's going to happen when you make it to 1,100? Something. Something. Where you're going to have to dip into that. But guess what? It's going to feel a hell of a lot better than not having no money at all and having that emergency. And then when you cover that emergency, you rebuild. You keep picking back up because you're still on step number 2. Keep picking back up till you get the 3,000. Guess what's going to happen when you make it to about 2,350? Something. What you gonna whine about it? No, you're gonna cover that emergency and you're gonna pick back up and you're gonna keep going and get to that 3,000. I don't care if it takes you the first 6 months of the year. Do what you gotta do to get to that 3,000 as fast as possible. This is another reason why we tell you not to sleep on the income opportunity. At least try to get a friend or two to do this along with you. Get a little bit of commission. Take that commission and save it, right? You could be putting that in your emergency fund. So it's just so many strategies. Just don't give up and keep going and stay super consistent with it.
I love it. I want to highlight a couple of comments that I see that I really I'm proud to hear specific words. And y'all didn't even know I was gonna say this. So y'all kind of tapped in to my brain. So Lakeisha Knight, hopefully that's how you say your name, said, I feel like I'm unlearning bad habits to learn new habits, feeling excited. Then Nisha said, yes, we're learning new powerful habits. Then Ebony said, yes, I'm learning new habits. The key word that I'm loving to hear is habits.
Habits, absolutely.
Because I promise you, and this is, I'm speaking to myself as well. I promise you, you can have all of the plans in the world, all the goals in the world, things that you want to do, but you're going to always fall back to the level of your habits. You're going to fall back to the level of your habits. What do you ingrain and do consistently to where it becomes habitual? When something becomes habitual, like it's normal for you to load up your stories. I'm thinking business. It's normal for you to invest a portion of your money. It's normal for you to throw out a percentage and pay off some debt. It's normal for you to be building your business on a regular basis. It's normal for you to hold on to the receipts when you circulate money because you know it's tax deductible. It's normal for you to look forward to tax season because you know that you have tax deduction that you've been accumulating because you've been building your business throughout the year. When you normalize those things and they become habitual, now you know that you're unlearning the things that you thought you knew and applying new things that can be more beneficial. So I love the fact that y'all said habits because that lets you know that it's not going to be a walk in the park. You're unlearning things and you're trying to create a normality of doing the right thing till it becomes a habit. And then you just learn new habits and continue to get better and perfecting different things that you are at that current state no longer pleased with. But those habits are going to be key. So I love to hear you three queens use that word specifically because that's what it boils down to, habits.
Yes. All right, y'all. So listen, that's all that we have for you, but we do always want to open it up for questions. So let me get back on that screen. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute. Let me stop the share. I don't know if we got enough light. All right.
That's plugged up if you want
to. Okay. And if you want, guys, just go ahead and unmute and ask your question. Wait, let me make it to where you can unmute. Sorry. Okay, there we go. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute. All right, no questions. How did y'all feel about the call? All right, I guess I can tell about the
I have a question. This is Lakeisha, and I was wondering, like, how do you overcome rejection? Because sometimes you see, like, somebody that's in the same team as you, and they're getting all these people to join their team, and then you're like, okay, what am I doing wrong? How do you get your mind out of that space to where you're always like y'all was saying today on the Zoom call, being consistent? Do you just continue to post and also do you rebrand yourself? Like, do you get another Facebook page, or do you correct the one that you're on?
Oh, good question.
Good question. So you want me to pop that off?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna double down on rejections because a lot of times rejections, stem down to some childhood stuff. We don't like to hear the word no, or we don't like to be rejected on certain things. So it's some old things that typically people have to deal with. But one of the things that helped me is knowing for a fact that what I was sharing with people was beneficial to where I knew the information I was sharing was something that can help them. So if they reject it, they're not rejecting me. They just don't understand that what I have can really help them in their situation. Once you come from a place of, that you have a solution, when people turn you down or say no, in a way you feel sorry for them. You're like, dang, that's sad. They don't get it. They don't get how they overpaying in Texas. Dang, that's sad. They don't get how they need another stream of income and they don't need to just depend on their job. They don't get that they need to be investing their money. They don't get that it's a solution that can help them better their credit and save money on the interest that they may pay. They don't get it. I feel sorry for them. You want to send them prayers and positive energy because you know that you have a solution. So right. You are less attached to the rejection, but more attached to the fact that you have a solution to their problem. And that makes you want to figure out more strategic ways to show up in front of them. Because most of the time, people just have to see you enough. And the first couple of times, they may not get it. But after a while, that consistency of you showing up, they're gonna say, you know what? That makes sense what she's saying now. Last year I didn't get it, but this year I get it. So they're more in tune because they're a different person. They've experienced some things. They're more ready at that time. So the rejection really wasn't a rejection to you. They just didn't understand. They didn't get it. So that's how I handle rejection.
Yeah, let your testimony do the talking. Let your testimony and your consistency do the talking. Because see, what happens is, say you get discouraged and you quit after 2 months. All they see is that you quit. I knew it wasn't real. I knew it wasn't legit. She done already quit after 2 months, right? Those same people. But imagine if you stay consistent with it for the whole year. Now you're showing your new credit score. I don't know if you want to buy a house or upgrade your vehicle this year. Say you do that. Say you start posting that you're making income with the opportunity. Next thing you know, they're watching and they're like, wait a second, this working for her. Let me reach out and see what it was that she was trying to share with me. So sometimes your testimony has to do the talking as well and share other people's testimonies. That's a major thing for all of my new members on here. You're new. You don't have a testimony just yet. But say one of your goals in my econ is to make money. Share other people's testimonies. Guys, we've been with the company for 10 years. We've been able to do some amazing things. We have an album full of testimonies. We know for a fact that this company works. We ain't hanging on for 10 years for nothing, okay? We have testimonies showing people improving their credit, buying homes, paying off homes, becoming debt-free, paying off $100,000 worth of debt, opening up investment accounts. I can go on and on. Quitting their jobs. Jeez, right? I mean, we can go on and on. So share other people's testimonies as well. Another thing, your second question was setting up a new page. I never suggest setting up a new page, ever. Okay? Reason number one is all of your family and friends are there. For me, this is just how I look at it. When I saw this information, the first people I wanted to tell was my family and friends. That's who I wanted to help. Like, I wanted to put them on. I want my people to win. So why would I run away from them when I have something that can help them? Especially if I know, like for me, when I seen the W-4 adjustment, I would start thinking, I'm like, I have sisters who are single moms. I know they can benefit. My sister is on here. She's an EVP Infinity in my econ. I got her started when she was going through a really, really rough time in life. Single mom, multiple kids, newly divorced. So those are the people I wanted to help. I wanted to put everybody that I knew on first. So I'm singing like a bird on my regular Facebook page because that's where I have an audience already. I want to help the people that are closest to me first. Then I want to get out there and start promoting it to strangers. Number two, if you set up a brand new page and you're promoting really anything, people look at that and they're instantly going to think that the page is fake. This person only got 20 friends. This person just set up this Facebook page. Oh no, this must be a hacker account. You got to understand in 2023, ain't nobody setting up no new Facebook pages. 2024. Ain't nobody setting up no new Facebook pages. People haven't done that in years. And when you do, you got to make an announcement saying my page was hacked or something like that. But just a new page, people aren't doing that. And if you do, it's going to look fake. It's going to look really fake. I know me personally, I'm not accepting no friend request if it's a brand new page, if you only got 20 friends, if you only got one profile picture, no cover photo, I'm not doing it. And I know millions of people think like that.
Absolutely. Funny you said that. Sabrina said, don't create a new page that may cause more skepticism. Absolutely. Think about what you would think if you seen it. Then somebody else said, Akira, I believe that's how she said her name. She said, that was me. She basically talking about the person who didn't get it, who was rejecting it. She said, that was me. It took her 2 years of spectating before she actually joined.
Ooh,
that's a lot of people. That, believe it or not, that's not uncommon. We got people who we've been communicating with, or they've been following us for years and they just got on board. So that's just the nature of it. Now, you also got to understand this, because sometimes you reap what you sow, or you attract more use. So if it took you a minute to get started, if you drug your feet, if you was hesitant, if you thought that, you didn't want to join, or for whatever reason, it took you a while to join, you're gonna encounter some people who also fall into that category. So you have to be understanding that, you know what, that was me. That just like Akira said, that was me. So if she encounters somebody who doesn't get it today, hopefully she's committed enough to stay consistent enough to where they'll get it tomorrow or whenever that tomorrow may be. So you definitely got to understand that you, in many cases, didn't join the first time you heard about this information. The first time you saw the opportunity to join, most people don't just hop on board right away. It takes some time. So apply that to your marketing as well.
And listen, people will follow you. I know we'll give you a long answer, Gwen, but people will follow you for years and just watch. Guys, listen, your family and friends at the end of the day, even though they were first on my list and I love them so much and I wanted to help them first, they're also just your practice because most of them won't get started. They don't know you for that. They don't know you for credit and finances. So they're like, what is she doing? Right? It's just new to them. But that's why God made strangers. And that's why you have social media where you can connect with thousands of people, millions of people from the comforts of your home. It's insane. We have people not only who will watch us for years, but will join us, quit, and join us again. And when they come back, it's always, man, I just didn't get it the first time, or man, I hate that I quit because I could have been so much further along, or man, this time I'm gonna be more consistent because now it all makes sense to me. So my advice is to just stick with it, even if it feels rough, it feels like people don't get it, you might not be making income yet that you want with the company, still keep going and plug into everything. If there's a call, you need to be on it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't care if it pop up at the last minute. Make your way on that call. And I'm serious. This is what we did. If there's a meeting in your area, attend it. I don't care if it's a big meeting or a small meeting. Plug in. If there's a Super Saturday, hop on. Really get an understanding. Like you have to engulf yourself in this and you can be really successful and nobody could tell you any different.
Yep. Let us know if you got any other questions. Nisi said something key that was in alignment with what you just said. She said she let somebody else talk her out of staying in the business 3 years ago. You know, and this is what you got to understand. You have to be able to come to your own conclusion about things. My econ is based on personal finances, not based on just you recruiting. So sometimes people get lost in, oh, that's one of them things. Okay, even if you didn't recruit a soul, can my econ help you better your credit? Absolutely. Can my econ help you get out of debt? Absolutely. Can my econ help you grow your investments? Absolutely. Minimize taxes? Absolutely. Can it help you increase your cash flow? Absolutely. Without you recruiting a soul. So make sure that you come to your own conclusion based on the data, based on the tools, based on the training. And then that will create conviction that positions you to be unshakable, to where somebody tries to deter you, they can't, because you know the value in what we have. And then if you're trying to build a business and share it with others and somebody else doesn't get it and they reject you, that doesn't deter you because you know the value that you possess. Any other questions out there before we wrap?
Yes, y'all. We don't have much longer. Let us know if you have any questions. And yes, Nisi, I see your comment. And y'all, I remember Nisi told me, because Nisi is making some money in my econ. And I remember her telling me, look, the first time I was in, I ain't make no money. I didn't realize it was this easy, you know? And so it's just, you have to just really make sure you're plugged into everything. That's honestly the key. And applying everything that you learn. If you're on a call and Mr. Stokes is talking about investment accounts, open up that investment account. And I'm serious about that. I remember like our first year in my econ, we were opening up investment accounts. We didn't know what we were doing, but we have a financial advisor here that's a part of my econ. And he's like in our upline. He was hosting these events and teaching us about different types of investments. We were buying stock, had no clue how it all worked. It just all made sense later when we were checking and that money was just growing and growing and growing. And we were like, man, we're so glad that we just listened and applied. Okay, anybody else? Questions? Questions going once? I'm checking the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. Questions going twice? All right, y'all. So this concludes the Royalty Movement team training. We're gonna wrap it up for my builders. Anybody that's interested in making money with my econ, I want you to stay on just a little bit longer after the mission statement so that we can have a conversation about that. But if you are not interested in that, let's go ahead and close it out with the mission statement.
You see, we live in a world where we're conditioned for failure. And oftentimes we have been programmed or fooled into mediocrity. So people find themselves living like peasants instead of the royalty that they were meant to be. But you see here in the royalty movement, we see the king in you. We see the queen in you from start to finish. It's just time for you to take your seat on the throne, because this is where we uplift your character, your confidence, and your cash flow. As royalty, you should establish a solid financial foundation that'll soon lead to your abundance and thriving empire. Take your seat on the throne. You are royalty. Salute. Love y'all. Let's get it. All right, Builder, stick around for a minute. We won't be before you too long. Let me stop this record and we'll go from there.
Yes. Look what they